Hi there, Elimination. It's Monique Pressley, and it is time for the Week with Monique. Yesterday in California, in Los Angeles, as a matter of fact, at a federal building where Kristi Noem was holding a DHS presser, Senator Alex Padilla, one of two senators who represents the great state of California, attempted to ask a question and was forcibly removed from the press conference. And after he was forcibly removed from the room where the press conference was, he was pushed onto his knees and then onto his face forcibly and was handcuffed with both hands behind his back. If you haven't seen it, here it is.
Guys, ready? And balancing. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been docked?
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, I put behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here.
I did not know.
There's no recording allowed out here for FBI rights for the building.
So what, I'm sorry?
There's no recording allowed out here.
That's my boss. I have to
There's no
record
recording
everything
allowed
for
out
us.
here. You can record. There's no recording allowed out here.
I'm not a member
There's
of the
no
press.
recording allowed.
I understand that, sir, but
After this happened, there were all these people who came out making statements about how shocked they were, how shocking it is, how this shouldn't be happening in a democracy. How could this happen to a sitting U.S. senator? And I'm here to tell you, I wasn't shocked at all. Appalled? Yes. Aggrieved? Certainly. Infuriated? You bet. But shocked? No. Because this is where we are, America. This country is being led by a lawless man, and he is being aided and abetted in breaking law after law by others who care just as little about the Constitution, care just as little about following the law as he does. In fact, they were appointed, or should I say they appointed him, for the express purpose of carrying out their lawlessness. We were given the entire playbook. The name of it is Project 2025. So every time a next thing happens and people are shocked, I'm saying why? They told us exactly what they wanted to do. They even explained why they wanted to do it. The authoritarian goals are clear. The totalitarian goals, dreams, the dictatorship that they desire for this country, it's all in black and white. The white supremacy is embedded in every page. The desire to suppress dissent, to oppress the protester, to minimize, suffocate, eliminate voices that would stand against their actions. All of it is in there. So now we've got U.S. senators on the ground with handcuffs, their hands behind their back, for doing their jobs, for doing federal oversight, which is what they're supposed to be doing in their actual jurisdictions. DHS, FBI claim they knew who he was. Even though in the video you can hear him saying, "I am Senator Alex Padilla," over and over again. And why exactly would you be living in California and responsible for law enforcement in California and you don't know the U.S. Senator for California? There's only two of them. Adam Schiff, Alex Padilla. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe they didn't know who he was at all. But this is not a one-off. As Senator Cory Booker said, we are seeing now pattern and practice on the part of this administration for looking for ways to detain, arrest, charge, indict sitting members of Congress, mayors, other leaders. It used to be the activists could expect to be arrested. It used to be the protesters knew that they probably had to plan for it. It used to be that heads of civil rights organizations were the ones who knew that they had to have extra security, and it was not just from the hateful people like the Klan and et cetera, and now the Proud Boys. It was to protect themselves from the U.S. government. That was the 50s. That was the 60s. But now that's what we're in 2025. And the reason why it's the week with Monique topic, it's not just because it's egregious. Obviously, it's important, but because I want those who have been yelling, the Democrats need to do more. What's wrong with Democrats? Where are our leaders? Where are the representatives? Where are the senators? And I mean, some of y'all, for real, you didn't even vote. You know, you didn't do that one thing that could have changed everything. Didn't even vote. And then, like, you don't go out and protest. You're not at any marches. You're not doing any donating. You are talking. Your fingers are talking. You're looking into a camera and talking. And then that's the end of it. But you're saying they need to. Why aren't they? You don't know if you Democrat, liberal, GOP, independent, but what you know for sure is that taking pot shots at the Democrats is easy. And because the people who serve on the Democratic side actually care about their constituents, like that's why they're fighting against the big beautiful bill. That's why they're trying to let you know that your health care, your Medicaid, your Medicare is about to get snatched. That's why they're concerned about public schools not getting shut down. That's why they're telling you children with special needs are not going to be able to get their education, or not going to be able to get their services if this administration has its way, because they actually care about their constituents. But their job is supposed to be legislating. It's supposed to be lawmaking. It's supposed to be coming up with solutions in writing, in the law, that will enable the courts to then enforce the law. That's what their job is supposed to be like. They're not infantry soldiers. They're not frontline organizers and activists. That's not their gig. We elect them to go and do a job. And my concern is that the pressure of they need to, I know they're not in power, but they need to do something. Why aren't they doing more? Why aren't they outside protesting? Why aren't they on the steps of the Capitol every day? Why aren't they doing it en masse? Why aren't they setting themselves on fire while they do handstands and cartwheels for my entertainment? Maybe then, I will be inspired enough to go out and do the one thing that it is my civic duty to do, vote. And then maybe do another thing, protest. Maybe do another thing, run for office. So, just want to make sure you know that when they step outside of their lane now, under this regime, when they get in what our dear, revered Congressman John Lewis, who's gone on to glory, when they do the good trouble now, when they exercise civil disobedience now, they're picking up felonies. They're picking up felonies because under this regime, there's no grace or space for good trouble or for civil disobedience. They've got U.S. attorneys that they've appointed who are going to prosecute cases that have no merit. The good ones resign and keep resigning until they find one willing to do it. They've appointed at every level people to head FBI, DOJ, DHS, who are going to pursue our leaders as though they are the enemy, pursue the press as though they are the enemy. This week, a reporter shot in the leg with a rubber bullet. A reporter, someone who actually was out taking photographs for Joy Reid for her new show. Tear gassed, just trying to cover what's going on in LA. You need to understand what the stakes are when you are urging your legislators to be organizers, to be protesters, to be activists. Do you know how many people Senator Alex Padilla represents? State of California, 39.4 million people, the largest population in a state in this country. There are two senators. They don't divvy up the responsibility. They both have all the responsibility. So they both represent 39 plus million people. So that man that was on the ground, 39.4 million people are counting on him doing his job. When that man gets arrested, when that man has to deal with trumped up charges, when that man is distracted from his real job, legislating, and has to do that, 39.4 million people are in the lurch. Congresswoman McIver, out there trying to do oversight, arrested, charged, now this week indicted, a sitting member of Congress having to pay a legal defense from what was actually her being assaulted, and defending herself and defending the mayor of Newark, who was also arrested, who was detained that day and then arrested. The stakes are high, people. This is not a game. You really need to decide what you want your elected officials to be spending their time doing. This is a war. Generals are not frontline soldiers in a war. They have spent the time, they represent an entire army. They call shots, they make plays, they have responsibilities. Infantry soldiers have responsibilities. Medics who are working in the field have responsibilities. Do you really want the medic out on the front line so you can see that the medic cares? Or do you know that the medic cares because when soldiers are injured, there's a medic waiting in a tent to treat the injured? Do you really want your Supreme Court justices? You want Ketanji Brown Jackson out in the streets? What would that show you? Especially in these times when the regime, as I said, is going to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. And it's going to have to work its way up in appeals court until a judge stops it. That's the way that we're going right now. Lawless actions by administration, stopped by a federal judge, immediate appeal, up and up until the Supreme Court has to say, no, you can't do that. That's where we are. Is that what you want? Elected officials who are supposed to be representing millions of people face down on the ground or locked up in a jail cell or fighting a courtroom battle? Are you going to lead the GoFundMe? Are you going to do it? You going to pay the legal bills? You going to add that to your list of things to do while they're taking money away from people who already don't have any and giving it to those who don't need it? You going to add that because it showed they cared? Just asking, because quite literally, we are in those times. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure to come before you, honoring my friend Don Lemon on his channel. Please subscribe to my channel, Monique Pressley channel, where we're giving you content daily, helping you to make it make sense. Until next time, stay safe out there.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.